What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the 10-7 MMA Show. Celine, I know you mentioned we're late. I'm so sorry. We were actually originally supposed to start at 1:30, but we had something that came up, so we had to push it back till 2, but we are on at 2 minutes late. But hey, 3 minutes late, whatever you want to call it, but we're back. Justin's going to be jumping on momentarily. I know a lot of you guys are here to hear his insights more than mine, as he is the MMA pro and the MMA expert, but we got an interesting list of topics today. And the first several of which actually have nothing to do with mixed martial arts. They have to do with other sports in the combat sports world. So I figured I could at least get us started on this Ryan Garcia controversy. And the thing is, as we jump into this, okay, so we're going to jump into the controversy, but I also want to get Justin's thoughts on steroids, what these tests mean, etc. But I'm going to run you guys through everything because I've been listening to this entire debate for quite a long time. So check this out. It just came out that Ryan Garcia got popped for steroids. Now, there are actually two different substances that were found, banned substances that were found in his system. So I'm going to tell you what both of those are in a second. But basically, the gist of it is, I'm going to get the exact names for you guys, but I'll tell you the gist of it. So one of them is something called ostarine, and that is a SARM. Okay, it's a selective androgen receptor modifier, something like that, but it's spelled SARM. And SARMs aren't exactly considered anabolic steroids, but they mirror the behavior of anabolic steroids, meaning they promote muscle growth, they help with bone. I believe they also help with bone density. So essentially like an anabolic agent. The difference is that the reason why they're called SARMs is because they're selective. So what that means is you may not affect your heart and your lungs and other muscles and things like that you don't want it to affect, right? It kind of selectively helps you grow muscle and get stronger. The other thing that was found was, and I can't find the name of it, but the other thing was basically the remnants of DECA. Okay. And if you guys are familiar with steroids, DECA is an extremely, extremely potent. All right, let me just see if I can find the exact name. It was, I'm trying to find it. 1 second. Basically, like DECA is a really, really strong anabolic. Actually, it's got quite a bit of side effects, and that is pure, like that is undeniable. Okay, in terms of it obviously being performance enhancing and something banned, etc. Here, let me just see if I can find the exact other. I can't find the name of the chemical. Okay, so let's talk about this because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving pieces. So the first thing to think about is, what does it mean? Like, is he actually guilty? Because there's always a chance that the substances could be, you could take other supplements or things like that have been tainted, right? That's happened to John Jones allegedly. And so we have to think about this first. And I mean, this is crazy because it's so sad for boxing. Ryan Garcia literally shocked the entire planet, mixed martial arts, across all combat sports, right? And this victory, he came back from like 8-1 odds and he won. And now we're in this position where we might have to rewind this victory. And what's up, Justin? So I'm just kind of giving the background of the Ryan Garcia controversy being popped with steroids. So I was just basically telling everybody that, there it is, nandrolone. He got popped for two substances, nandrolone and another thing called ostarine, which is a SARM. Okay, if people aren't familiar with that, I kind of explained what it is. So now we're trying to figure out what's going on. Ryan Garcia is claiming that he probably likely got it from a tainted substance, something called ashwagandha. It's like a natural root that does promote testosterone or heighten testosterone, or help promote your body to produce more testosterone. So he's claiming it's from a tainted substance. But Justin, let me turn it over to you. I mean, I got so many questions for you as a fighter. First of all, I mean, do you believe, Ryan, that it is a potentially tainted substance? And then I'm going to tell you what a lot of other people have weighed in and said.
I might lose connection here for whatever reason. Whenever I go under this light, I lose it for about 2 minutes.
Okay.
But honestly, man, it probably wasn't a tainted supplement. He probably is just trying to get one by. I mean, regardless, he's not the champ. The belt didn't matter. He missed weight. Like, he did that for the bag, man. The guy bet like $3 million on himself as an underdog.
Mm-hmm.
He won his 15 mil. I'll be honest, like, as Garcia's standpoint, I mean, dude, he did it for the bag, man. He talked about it. He goes, that's why he missed weight too. He's like, he wanted the extra strength. He doesn't care about the belt. He cared about the money. He cared about winning. And, you know, that's what he did. Even if they do revoke his win, how are they going to get them back from him? How are they going to get them, you know, his win money back? What is he going to give it back to him? I very highly doubt it.
That's what I was wondering too. So like, what's going to happen? Because the odds makers, you know, the people who run the books, like they probably lost a ton of money, especially on that bet alone. But everybody else that bet on Ryan Garcia has got a huge fan base. So is that possible to rewind back, or is that basically done?
No, they can't. Okay. Oh, Uze, got my fight. We lost. You're gonna go to the bookie and be like, hey man, here's your money back. Fuck no, no one's gonna do that. And I wouldn't either. It's the best say, like, if it was the other way, listen, I know a lot of bookies and I know a lot of books, and listen, they take your money. All right. If there's any opportunity to take your money, they're taking it. So with that being said, if I have an opportunity to take their money, I'm taking it. I'm not giving it back.
Right. Now, I wanted to throw a couple of other things out there. So I heard a lot of people talk about this yesterday. I've heard Jesse on Fire, Paulie Malignaggi, who's a boxer, and he weighed in as well. Conor McGregor's weighed in, which we're going to talk about as well. It's a real hot topic. And like I said, I feel like it's such a shame because I really like Ryan Garcia. And this was just an unbelievable story that he comes in, he faked the whole thing of being crazy, and he shocked the world. I mean, it's just like, it's a story. It's a movie. It's crazy. And then now this happens, and it seems to take a lot of things away from him. But he's thrown out this idea, and I don't know, like, if this has any credibility whatsoever. But he's feeling like he was set up, and this is because to protect the sport of boxing. And the only reason why because it's a bit of a conspiracy theory, but the only reason why I want to talk about it with you is because what people have said is the sport of boxing is the dirtiest sport ever, right? There's so much corruption. There is a lot of juicing. It's rampant. Actually, a lot of people have said that they suspected Devin Haney of juicing for a long time. Paulie Malignaggi said that himself as well. And he was saying, like, most of these guys juice, but they know how to do it in a way so that they don't get detected. And he's like, the only way you get detected is if you're going like so overboard with it that you're just being ridiculous. And I'm going to throw one other piece of information at you. He passed previous drug tests, and then this one failed. Now, there's also potential reasons why that could have happened that I've read about as well, meaning like sometimes some of the particles get stored in your fat, and then when you cut weight, they get released, and then you can show up and you can test dirty. But anyways, do you give any credibility to the notion that maybe this was a setup to save the sport of boxing because Ryan Garcia kind of made it look ridiculous with its lack of training and so on and so forth?
I don't think it was a setup. You know, it's like you said, boxing is crooked, man. This is 50-50. I'm not leaning one way. Maybe he was trying to cheat and he thought he could get away with it and he popped. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was tainted. But here's the thing, man. We'll never know. I mean, he's going to stick to his guns. He's going to get a lawyer. His lawyer's going to stick to his guns that he was sabotaged. And maybe that's true, but there's a good chance it's not too. There's a 50% chance that it's not true as well. That's why, you know, my notion is, you know what? We're professional athletes. We're trying to compete at the highest level and take care of our bodies to the best capacity. I think steroids should be legal all across the board.
Interesting. Okay. Why?
I mean, why? Because, okay, for instance, testosterone. All right. You're in your 40s. I'm in my 30s. If you were in the UFC at 40 years old, which some guys are, Glover Teixeira, how can he compete with a 25-year-old's testosterone level? And you know what? And the reason I'm bringing this up right now is because I just talked to a doctor about this.
Okay.
Because he brought up Ryan Garcia and the drug. And it was it was just mind-boggling to me that I never thought about this. It's like, okay, are contacts performance enhancing?
Right. Right. Yes. I mean, I guess you could say yeah. You could say yes, depending on how you.
Absolutely right. They're absolutely. They are sharpening your eyes to make you see better. All right. No problem. Okay. Everyone's okay with contacts. All right. But just so like you're like an older guy might have less vision than a younger guy. Maybe he's taking damage. All right. So he can wear contacts to be able to see as well as the 20-year-old. Well, what about recovery? All right. How can a 40-year-old fighter recover the same as a 20-year-old fighter when you have testosterone levels that are 100, 200, maybe less than 100 compared to a 21-year-old guy that's coming out of college, fresh out of college? You know, Bo Nickel is example. How could somebody that's 35, 40 years old compete with Bo Nickel's testosterone level?
Right.
Now,
right. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I think there should be regulations and limits. You know, Vitor Belfort the average test level on a human from a healthy human is 900 to 1,000. Vitor Belfort, when he tested his test levels, he was at 2,800. That's fucking 2 times over the natural dose. But
yeah,
if say, all right, we're just talking about tests, and obviously there's other ways too. Like, what about, okay, the limit's 1,000, whether you're using synthetic or natural, your test cannot be over 1,000. And I think that's more than fair. And then when you take, like SARMs and stuff like that, guys, I'll tell you the truth, man. I'll be straight up, and a lot of guys aren't going to like me saying this, but I'm willing to say 80%, 80+% of athletes, not just fighters, are using some form of performance enhancing drugs. You can't live the lifestyle we do. And like right now, I had a fucking hard week. Last week was a hard week, but I'm ramping it up even harder this week. Dude, I couldn't even get out of bed this morning. I'm so sore and I'm so tired and I'm so fatigued and I'm having a hard time keeping my eyes open. And now, since my body isn't fully recovered for the training session I just went through, I'm more prone to getting injured. And now if I get injured, we're talking about taking back.
Oh, wait, we lost your audio. I think you hit mute. You muted yourself. You muted yourself. There we go. There we go.
I'm getting out of my car. It's like, and a lot of these guys are taking these supplements to.
Oh, all right. Sorry. I think we're losing Justin because he's just getting into his house. I imagine his phone's probably connected to the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's right.
And Justin, we got you back? Okay, we got you back.
So,
all right. So sorry. So you were saying about recovery?
Recovery, like you got someone that has a test level of 1,000, and then you have someone that has a test level 100. The person with test level 1,000 is going to recover 10 times faster, and then you take it and you take the performance enhancing drugs like EPO. Like, I think it's better for the sport, and here's why. I think it's better for the sport because it'll be more entertaining. Would you like watching guys, especially heavyweights, go in there, bang for a round, and then gas out? No, give these guys EPO. Sure. Let them go 15 minutes. This is their job. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, dude, you look at back in the day, back in Pride, when all these guys looked like G.I. Joe characters, Vitor Belfort. I mean, again, I think it should be limited, but cheating is always going to happen. And I'm telling you, a lot of these guys that I know, and I'm not going to say any names because I know a lot of guys that use juice. I probably know over 50 not 50, maybe 25 fighters that use some sort of juice. And whether it's testosterone, whether it's Turnabol, whether it's whatever else, dude, I've been around the sport for going on 20 years. I've seen it all. And dude, instead of just banning it, because guys, here's the thing, the guys with the most money will get away with it. They'll always have the best doctors. They'll always have the best tests. They'll always have the best everything. But then you get somebody that doesn't have that kind of money to pay for it. They can't pay for the doctors. How can athletes keep up with those guys? And I know I'm going off on a tangent, but dude, I say just make them legal across the board.
This is a good tangent because I want to show you something right now. Speaking of guys with money, okay, I want to show you these statements that Conor McGregor said. He said Conor McGregor warns Ryan Garcia to get his head right.
Guess what? And you know what? Conor McGregor, dude, he's juiced to the gills, bro. There's a reason he couldn't be in the USADA testing pool. So it's so hypocritical of him to come out and talk shit. But you know what he's doing? You know what he's doing? He's selling a fight. Dude, he's selling a fight. He's coming at him from an angle like, oh, you're on drugs. Yeah, I used to look up to you, and now you're a piece of shit. Fuck you, Conor McGregor. You fucking guy. Like, I mean, if anybody is believing this shit he's saying, for one, Ryan Garcia is tiny compared to Conor McGregor. So it's a great match. It's just like the Floyd Mayweather. He can't beat Ryan Garcia, but he's not going to get probably knocked out by him because he's so small, just like Floyd Mayweather. And he's selling a fight, dude. That's all he's doing. And if anybody thinks any otherwise, like, yo, he's genuine, like, oh, he's fucking pissed that he's using PEDs. Fuck you, bro. Like, come on, man. Look at his pictures, bro. He's like 200 pounds juiced to the gills. So
I do know.
If that's not call the pot calling the kettle black, I don't know what is. I respect it for the sense of he's drawing in a boxing crowd. I bet he reaches out to Ryan, like, hey, dude, let's sell this fight, and we both make fucking $50 million. Dude, that's what Conor McGregor's doing. And if anybody thinks otherwise, they're fucking stupid.
Okay, well, then I might be stupid, and I'm willing to admit it because I believed it. I thought it was legit. And Conor always talks about
I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't hear you.
Wait, Louisa, can you still hear me? Is my audio coming through? Yeah, okay.
I'm going to close out and restart.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So Justin jumping back up. But okay, I'll be the first to admit it. I saw those comments from Connor and I did believe it was legitimate. And I'll tell you why. Connor has spoken out against steroids for a long time. And I generally tend to give people the benefit of the doubt. And I know that he was probably taking supplements or anabolics probably in during his recovery from his leg break, but I thought that was totally fine. My understanding is, at least that's what I thought, is now he's back off the supplements now that his leg is healed and he's back in the testing pool and things are back to normal. And I fully supported Connor taking whatever he needed to take because he had such a terrible, horrific injury that a lot of people don't ever recover from. So I thought it was legitimate, but you may be very well right. And I don't know what to say. So I want to give you some other opinions of people. So some people in the boxing community, I've listened to a lot of podcasts in the last couple of days. Some people are outraged. They want Ryan Garcia banned from the sport forever. And I don't know if that's the right or wrong choice, but the reason why they're so upset is they're like, look, in combat sports, in a sport where you're causing damage to somebody, he juiced himself up. He went in there. He swung hard. He possibly gave Devin Haney damage that he'll never fully recover from. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but he took a bad beating. He got knocked down and probably multiple concussions. People are very upset. So turning that back over to you, I mean, do you feel like that? Or you're like, come on, that's ridiculous. So many people juice, like you can't even be mad about it.
Hey, if I'm Ryan Garcia, I take the bag. I say, see you later, boxing. Take my 20 million. I don't give a fuck, bro. I could live off 20 million, and I'm sure he could as well and can. And dude, like Ryan Garcia doesn't give a fuck. Like you look at the way this guy acts. He does not give a fuck what people think. Oh, if people are outraged, fuck the people. Like, so what? Like they're not paying his bills. Well, they kind of are, I guess, because they're buying pay-per-views and shit. So I guess that. But guess what? He already got his bag. Was he want like he already got his money. Like you know what? Boxing is corrupt. It's been corrupt as long as I can remember. That's why I don't like watching it. I think a lot, not a lot, but a lot of the matches are like you get guys that are. Why don't we have guys that are besides Habib that are 30-0 in MMA? Like, why don't we get those? Because you have to fight tough guys early in your career to go anywhere. In boxing, dude, like you get soup cans all the way through your career. I don't think, I mean, dude, I can't even name 10 boxers. like fuck boxing, man. Fuck boxing. I think it's a corrupt sport. Even on that card with Ryan Garcia, I know there was a fight earlier than that everyone was outraged. Like, I can't believe a decision went this way. I don't remember which one it was. But dude, these guys are just out here trying to collect a bag, man. And I can't hate him on for that. But at the end of the day, I mean, Ryan Garcia missed weight. He's not the champion, and he still made 30 million or 50 million or however much
I
he
think
made.
like 50. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
something
it's like,
crazy.
dude, like, I mean, I don't care if people get mad at me for saying it. Like, if I was Ryan Garcia, I don't give a fuck.
Well, here's the other thing that people said too. They think that the missing weight and the fact that he was theoretically on steroids were two together. So this is another thing I heard. I want to confirm it with you. So I haven't even talked to you about this. I'm asking Justin live on camera for the first time. They think that he missed weight by 3 pounds intentionally, and the reason why is because if you miss by a pound or a pound and a half, they're going to make you keep cutting. The commission will be like, no, you're almost there. You have to keep going. Well, when you're that far off, 3 pounds or 3.5 pounds, whatever it was, there's no point. So they kind of let you off the hook, and then you just have to hope that your opponent doesn't refuse the fight. So what people are saying is that he intentionally used the steroids to bulk up and said, all right, this is about as close as I'm going to get there, but not too close. And then that way he could fight with a significant strength advantage. Do you find any credibility to this theory?
Well, like I said, Ryan said, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. I saw in an interview, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he didn't care that he missed weight. Like he didn't care. He didn't say he planned to miss weight. It doesn't matter if you missed by 0.1 or 5 pounds or 10, like that doesn't matter. When you say you're done, you're done. Like I had a fighter, Lars Wittenberg, we had a really tough cut. This last fight, he got within a pound and the commission was like, hey, you need to lose this last pound. And Lars goes, I'm done. And they said, okay, take it or not. The guy took it, and the rest is history. But so I don't think that, if you get within a pound, the commission will make you. Nobody can make me do anything. Nobody can make me do anything. And when I'm done cutting weight, I'm done. And I don't care what my opponent says. I don't care what the commission says. If you don't take the fight, that's on you. But if you're not taking a fight over a pound, you're kind of a pussy. Like, you're already collecting 20% extra now. And
Right.
like, if you think 1 pound is the difference maker in a fight, you're sadly mistaken.
Got it. All right. See, that's why I ask you. Great insights. Okay, before we wrap this up, because again, for me, for just like loving the story, loving the rise. I mean, it was so cool. It's not even my favorite sport whatsoever. I don't even like boxing, but it was just such a cool. It was a great fight, and I thought it was entertaining. And Ryan Garcia cracks me up. I don't know. I like the guy. I think he's awesome, and I wanted it to be true. I wanted it to be a legitimate victory, and maybe it still is, and that's what I'm hoping for. Let's assume that things go this way. Let's assume that they get the supplements, they test them, they find there was contamination, and there was contamination. The problem is that there were 2 substances, right? The second one is basically it's a downstream chemical, I think, that is released from DECA, or like a byproduct of DECA, which is a pretty harsh steroid with a lot of side effects, a very strong one. So that makes it a little bit less likely. But let's say that this is the case. This is what I want to be true, right? That it is a tainted supplement. What they're saying is then they'll make it a no contest, but they'll still allow him to compete in the sport of boxing. If that's the case, what do you see next for him? Or do you see any possible continuance in the sport? I know other guys like Canelo and like, what's his name? Tyson Fury. They've all popped for steroids. They've all gone through it, and they've still been around and been successful. What do you see next for him?
Whatever he wants, dude. He's the king of the world right now. He just beat, you know, he beat his opponent. Call it a no contest or not. I wouldn't call it a no contest. I would never say Ryan Garcia had a no contest. I would always call it a win, regardless. That was just like, you know, I popped for marijuana in 2021. All right. Marijuana, bro. Like, oh yeah, super performance enhancing. Like, man, I get anxiety or I get stressed out before fights, and I'll eat an edible, and I pop for marijuana in 2021. If I would have won my fight against Charles Rosa, it would have been ruled a no contest. Over marijuana? What? I didn't beat that guy? What? Over
Yeah,
marijuana?
right.
Anybody watching, I know you've smoked and you've eaten edibles. Like, at what point when you're stoned do you think I want to go fight somebody and I'm going to fight to the highest level? That is never. Fuck. Every time I'm stoned, it's like, why do I do this? This fucking sucks. Like, I'm done fighting. You know, it's like, so I know they're two different things, but at the end of the day, man, he'll do whatever the fuck he wants. He's rich, and that's what it comes down to. The guy's a multi millionaire. I mean, he can continue in boxing. He can retire. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Let's go with the Conor fight. Ryan Garcia versus Conor McGregor,
Money
or
fan.
Ryan. That'd be crazy. Nah, man, that'd be amazing. Ryan Garcia, whatever it is, I hope he sticks around in some manner in the sport. Maybe bare knuckle, who knows? But yeah, just such big news, and people are so pissed off and so upset and this and that, and I understand it. But hey, I want to get the fighter perspective. Hope that was interesting for you guys. We got to move on though. And speaking of other things that Ryan Garcia could do, I got to go to this, man. I chose this topic. Bare knuckle boxing is wild. So, by the way, I talked to Pete, my MMA coach in LA, and he had one of his guys fight at the bare knuckle fight last Saturday, where Mike Perry just came out and dominated Thiago Alves, knocked him out in the first round. I went back and I watched the entire card, bro. Like, this sport is crazy. Like, I didn't fully understand, because you piqued my interest last time. For those of you guys who missed our last episode, go back and watch it. I think we created a short too. Justin explained very eloquently what makes bare knuckle boxing so crazy and why it's so much more. I mean, it doesn't even compare to regular boxing. Now, the first thought of it, when I first thought of, this idea of bare knuckles, I don't know, something about it kind of made me squirmish, because it's like they break their hands so easily. And it just seems a lot of MMA guys, toughest guys on the planet, don't want to do bare knuckle boxing. They're like, all right, that's a little crazy. It's like, what? And you're going in, you're taking head kicks and knees to the head, like elbows, is wild. They don't want to do bare knuckle boxing. But I think it's because of that. They don't want to risk the injury to the hand. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of interesting, but it's still boxing. You don't have all those other tools, which are so much more interesting. But what Justin explained is the reason why the fights are crazy is because the clinching is so different. You can't trap somebody's hands with the gloves. And then you're also using wrestling and grappling. So I went back and I watched this. This sport is actually pretty unbelievable. It's a little insane. And sometimes it's like, it's almost too much. But dude, I want to show you guys some clips of this. And I think we're going to start covering more bare knuckle boxing on the channel, because Justin loves it. I'm starting to get into it. Just take a look at this fight. All right. This went to the 5th round. This is crazy. And the whole fight. This was, I can't remember the
Lorenzo
name.
Hunt, dude. That's one of the greatest boxers. I think he's in the top 2. Him and Mike Perry are the 2.
This isn't Lorenzo Hunt right here. This is the entire event. This is 2 other guys. I can't remember the names, but this is the 5th round.
It says Lorenzo at the bottom.
Lorenzo is on this. It's the entire card.
Gotcha.
But check this out. Check this out. The Lorenzo Hunt fight is kind of sad. I saw that because he like falls and breaks his arm, and then it ends in a whatever, a TKO. But here, let me show you this. Look at this. This is the 5th round. They're going all out.
Yes, taking that exceedingly well, walking through it. Yes, good.
Slowed down, obviously, because it's the 5th round out of 5 rounds.
Diaz doing a better job of not following his opponent, trying to mirror the hips a little bit better. And you can see in the clinch, Diaz just dominating.
But you know what's crazy is like boxers will watch this and be like, "This isn't boxing. Look at how sloppy they are."
You notice
they're sloppy, but look at you can get away with it because you only need to land 1 punch with these bare hands, man.
Yeah, and also you notice there's none of like, imagine at this point in a boxing match, they'd be hugging each other, they'd be all over each other, they'd be doing nothing, trying to catch their breath. It doesn't happen. Now keep watching. It gets crazy. I know it looks a little slow right now, but watch.
At the underhook. From Glenn, 65 seconds remaining in this fight to the body.
Ooh.
And George Matthew just wide open. Good right hand from Diaz. And a lot of this is ring generalship right now. On the right hand, Diaz even.
See how he can post on his head?
What's that?
See how he can post on his head and control?
Right.
That's why I love it compared to boxing.
There was one fight, man. I gotta show it to you too. I'm gonna show you a clip of it. The guy with long hair, he grabbed the hair from the back of the head and just go pow, pow. Okay, I'm gonna show you that. That is insane. But hold on, watch this.
He's in control. He is on the right hand, left hand. One-way traffic for David. Diaz on the left hand. When trying to reset, Diaz having 2 legs the right hand. Diaz coming forward again. When Diaz gets hit, he just laughs it off. He says he doesn't hurt. Jordan's not doing the same thing.
I'm gonna show you just quickly the end of this fight. Is crazy. Look at the heart.
Goes forward again on the double check. Left hand and the counter right hand after Jordan landed. Diaz again. Diaz now sticking out his tongue at Jordan, coming forward to the body.
This fight was actually scored a draw. Believe it. It was a draw. Can you believe that? But I mean, this sport is insane. Okay, I'm going to show you guys. Let me cue up the other fight. But Justin, I mean, just to turn over to you, there's no lull in the action in this sport. It's not like typical other fighting sports. Even in MMA, you could argue there's like kind of, I don't consider them lulls, they're like grappling, positions and stuff like that. So some people get bored, but that just does not exist in this sport. It's so wild. Okay, hold on. Let me find. I'm going to queue up this other fight. This is insane, dude. And also the way it ended, too, because as you mentioned, it just takes 1 hit, right? If I can find it. It is bonkers. Oh, you know what?
Just to hear while you're looking for that, I'll just go on a little riff here, man. Like Jordan Christensen, one of the guys I train with, just an incredible MMA fighter, transitioned to bare knuckle, dude. It's a brutal sport. They're only 2-minute rounds. But yeah, in a lot of points, I like bare knuckle better than MMA sometimes just because there's so many more knockouts and guys are getting fucked up. Like, if you want to see brutal blood and guts, guys are getting their teeth knocked out, their nose broke, their hands break, they're cut every fight. Like, there's blood everywhere. Like, when you go and when I was cornering Jordan in BKFC, the whole canvas is just covered in blood. There's so much blood they can't even clean up it. You can't even clean it up. Someone always is going to get dropped. Someone's always going to get fucked up. Even when you win, you get fucked up, man. I don't want. My biggest fear of bare knuckle is getting my teeth knocked out.
Yeah, I mean, and be breaking your hands, like so many things. By the way, Pern 166, you're a great idea to cover BKFC. Yeah, we're gonna do that because this sport is crazy. Now I'm gonna show you a fight that's gonna blow your mind. I don't think you saw this one, Justin. Maybe you did, but this is pure insanity. Here we go.
Bare knuckle versus Alfredo Angulo. Round number 1. Black trunks for Angulo, white trunks for Riggs. Double jab, hard to the hard entry from Jeremiah Riggs. Big shots on the inside.
All right.
Riggs exactly right.
Now watch this part. Now he's grabbing the back of his head with the hair. I've never seen this before.
Collar tie, standard collar tie.
To be snatching the half tie from. Big shot with the right hand. Angulo covering up. Huge right hands from Riggs. Angulo trying to turn. More shots from Riggs on the inside. Riggs again with the right hand.
I didn't know you could grab their hair.
On the half tie.
Either did I.
I don't know if that Mike Beltrane's kind of looking on like he's not sure either, to be honest.
Dude, I maybe it's not legal and he was getting away with it. All right, watch this, guys. This is gonna blow your mind if you haven't seen this yet.
Running up the hair pull by referee Mike Beltrane. Riggs continuing to throw with the right hand. One-way traffic at the moment. There's the uppercut. Angulo trying to fire back with the right hand. It's exactly where he wants to be. More right hands from Jeremiah Riggs. Onslaught of shots from Riggs. Angulo still standing still, taking these punches. Riggs is just dominating this fight. Angulo trying to fire back. Angulo against the ring ropes. Angulo was standing that initial onslaught, but here's the second onslaught. More right hands from Riggs. From the half complete right hand.
Just wait, just wait.
One shot, here it comes. I know what you're anticipating.
Riggs has got to be careful not to punch himself out, gas himself out with a punch.
Oh!
This is insane.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
What the heck? All right. I don't
Bare
care.
Knuckle Boxing. How is that not more? That's so exciting. How could you say that's not exciting? Not you, but anybody.
It's insane. And I mean, he struggled through, like, that guy's a legend, dude. He just stuck it out, stuck in there. Now, I'm going to say, what, do I still prefer mixed martial arts and the UFC in particular? Yeah, I do. And I'll tell you why. I still think it replicates the closest environment to a straight up street fight. And that to me is fascinating. And I also do think those guys are the most skilled athletes in terms of fighters in the world. So
well,
I
want to correct. I want to interject there for a second. You said the most closest to a street fight.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you been, or not you, but how many times have you seen a street fight where guys are throwing kicks and knees and elbows?
Yeah, that's true. But that's because
Bare
they don't
knuckle
know.
is the epitome of street fighting, bro. That's why I love it. I fucking love it.
Yeah, but that's because most guys don't know how to do that. Like, I would throw
exactly. That's why. Well, I just want to correct you. I'm not correct you, but give me my thought about a street fight. A street fight is bare knuckle. Like, they're not throwing straight punches. He's grabbing his hair, bro. Like,
crazy.
Bah, bah, bah. And then he's out. I love bare knuckle.
I was watching this last night and I was like, what the heck is going on? This is so crazy.
Is that the first time you've watched it?
I've watched it before, but not with the same, I think not with the same approach or idea of like, okay, this is actually going to be really interesting. Mike Perry's really warmed me up to the sport. I didn't really get it at first in terms of why are we making the distinction between the bare knuckle and the gloves? Like, what's the difference? Why don't we just have, why stray away from mixed martial arts? But when you explained it on Monday, as I said, I was like, okay, wait, let me give it another shot. Now I understand potentially why it could be way better. And I watched the entire card and I was like, oh my God, this is a totally different sport. So yeah, man, I don't know. I don't see much reason for boxing, traditional boxing, to even stick around because you have this as an alternative or even some sort of like with smaller gloves that removes sort of these like little tactics of like hugging and holding and pinning the hands and stuff like that, which always makes it boring for people, right? But anyways, I just want to talk about that. I was absolutely blown away. Okay. Now we're doing a lot of boxing today, and that's just because sort of that's at the forefront of everything. At the end, we're going to talk about UFC 301, which is tomorrow. It's not like okay, we got Jose Aldo on there. I'm going to watch it, but it's not a card that I'm freaking out about. So I'm just just being totally honest. But there was a crazy thing that also happened. We've got the Canelo fight this weekend. Again, I don't really truly care that much about the Canelo fight, but it was pretty interesting what happened at the presser here. So I want to show you. Things are definitely heating up in the world of boxing. So check out what Oscar De La Hoya does here. We're going to fast forward it a little bit. Okay.
Thank you very much for
Look at his face. Look at his face. He's so mad already.
Being here for what I truly believe.
Oh, by the way, let me give you guys some context. If you don't know, so Oscar De La Hoya runs Golden Boy Promotions, and Canelo Alvarez used to be one of his fighters, and he promoted the heck out of him. He did a lot for him. He claims that he did everything and made Canelo who he is. I don't know if that's how true or not that is. Again, like I don't follow boxing that much. I heard a counter argument to that saying that it was really the TV networks in Mexico that boosted his profile, and obviously he's an impeccable boxer. But listen to this.
It will be the changing of the guard of Mexican boxing from Canelo Alvarez to Jaime Munguia. My sole purpose in this promotion is to support Jaime, an undefeated, incredible talent who deserves the stage and spotlight at this point of his career. However, I would be remiss if I didn't respond to the man I used to promote. He seems to have trouble remembering who helped him.
Talking about Canelo, just for context.
Become a true global star. To be clear, I have nothing but respect for Canelo Alvarez as a fighter. His record and abilities speak for themselves. But he has spent much of the last 2 months insulting me rather than promoting this fight. So I'll make it a little bit easier for him. Yes, I have faced a lot of challenges in my life. Yes, I've been to rehab several times. Yes, there were some really low points in my life. And yes, there were times that work was not my priority based on my mental health, which I had neglected for so long. But that doesn't change the fact that Golden Boy built Canelo Alvarez, period. The company you fought under for decades has always had one name, and it's mine. So put some fucking respect on it. As for Jaime, he has always dared to be great, just as he's this Saturday night. And this serves as a bit
Do you see Canelo? He's like,
Yeah,
don't
talk to me like that.
Yeah.
of a full circle for him. Remember when Jaime was 21 years old, volunteered to step in against Triple G, and Canelo failed 2 drug tests? Though Jaime wasn't allowed to fulfill his dream, 2018, on Saturday night, he will do just that, fulfill his dream and be world champion.
Tienen que escribirle lo que tiene que decir este pinche maricón, cabrón. Tú lo escribes, ¿qué lo escribes?
Maricón, maricón, cabrón. It's...
Nada, tú no haces nada. Eres un pendejo, eso no quieres. Eres un pendejo, cabrón, porque estás nomás ahí. Los que hacen todos son los que están detrás de ti. Tú eres un pendejo nomás con la imagen, idiota.
Wait, Luisa, what is he saying? What is he saying? A lot of curse words. Okay, I don't know. Like, I know bendejo, but I don't know the rest of it. But yeah, I think he's saying you didn't do anything. Like, you did nada. I think he's saying something like that. Anyways, Justin, what are your thoughts on this presser? Is this just...
That was wild, man. I cannot believe a promoter came out and said that about one of his former fighters, let alone one of the greatest boxers of this generation. You know, he's lucky Canelo didn't go up there and fucking slap his face. And if he did, guess what? I thought that was well deserved. Like, I can't believe I cannot believe a promoter did that. I've seen coaches do it. I've seen other fighters do it, but not a promoter promoting a fight. That's crazy.
So do you think he was out of line?
I mean, he's selling a fight, man. Guess what? Guess what that fucking idiot just did? He got me to watch the fight tomorrow. So,
Yeah.
Guess what? He is an expert. De La Hoya was an incredible boxer, and he's an expert promoter. I'm sure he's taken a lot of tips and tricks from Mike Tyson's old promoter. I'm trying to think what his name is. What's his name?
With the hair, with the crazy hair.
With the hair.
Don something.
Don King.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure he's taken some tricks out of his book.
Yeah.
But dude, he just sold the fight, and I'm gonna tune in now. So off that one clip, I'm tuning in. So I'm sure it was calculated, and I'm sure he knew it was a risk. But again, he just got one more person to watch that fight for me watching that 30-second clip.
I mean, it's just crazy. Like, I sometimes when I watch this sport and I see the thing, like, I'm just such a sucker. Like, I'm all in on the Ryan Garcia drama. Like, that got me hook, line, and sinker, and I like it. I'm happy to go on the ride. This got me, and maybe it was orchestrated, but yeah, I don't know what to say. Sometimes when it's like, that what they're trying to do, it bothers you a little bit, but I'm still game. Like, I'm still down. It's very exciting. Okay, so now I want to talk about this last fight. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys. We're gonna do a little review of Pantoja versus Erceg. I don't know a ton about these fighters. Obviously, Pantoja is a recent new champion. He's doing great from Brazil for the what's called flyweight division. But I don't know a ton about this, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit with you. And what we're going to do is we're going to step through the record. So, and we're going to get a little bit of analysis from Justin. So let's do a little bit of a screen share here. Let's first look at Pantoja. What do you know? Or what are your thoughts about this at first glance before we look at the stats?
I'll be honest, man. I know Pantoja beat Brandon Moreno, and that's about the most I know about him, dude. And anybody that can beat Brandon's a tough motherfucker. Now, you look at Erceg on the other side, I don't know a single thing about this guy. I wouldn't even know what he looked like. I do know he had an interesting – someone told me an interesting stat about him this morning, and unfortunately I can't recall what it was, but it was really, really interesting stat. Something like 6 fighters have been 3 – yeah, this is what the stat was. It's like 6 fighters have won 3 fights in the UFC and got a title shot. Brock Lesnar, this guy, and there was whatever the other 4 others are, and all of them that were 3-0 Alex Pereira, all of them won the belt.
Yeah,
I think they all won by finish too.
That these statistics are kind of interesting. Like when I think about them from a mathematical perspective, you know, people say make that quote sometimes, hey, is this MMA math or whatever? Like I just feel as though there's such blanket statistics. I mean, there's so many differences in weight class.
It's a pure coincidence statistic.
Yeah,
It's a pure coincidence.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting.
It is interesting. It is interesting. Okay, so I just want to take a quick look. I think Pantoja is amazing. He's the real deal. Look at these fighters. Like Manel Kape is amazing. A lot of people were saying were going to predict him as the champ by the end of this year. Obviously, he missed weight, and that may now be off the table. He's beaten Brandon Royval twice, Brandon Moreno. He's got a pretty stellar record. Now we're going to switch over to Erceg's record, and as you mentioned, he's only had 3 fights in the UFC, but it's a pretty crazy record nonetheless. So he is 12-1. So these are all the fights he's had up till. I don't know these organizations. What is it? Hold on one second. Eternal MMA. Are you familiar with this organization or no? It's in Australia. Oh, Justin, you're muted again.
Sorry, my dad has a TV on. I'm unfamiliar. I've never heard of it.
Okay. So, yeah, the people that he's beaten in the UFC, David Vorak, Alessandro Costa, and Matt Schnell. And 2 of those were decisions, unanimous, and then 1 was a knockout via punches. Okay. That's about all we got in terms of the statistics. And you're right. We've got that short record. I guess if you go by that statistic, maybe he's got a good shot. Justin, since we don't know a ton about this fight and about these fighters as a matchup, do you have any thoughts? Do you have a prediction if you're going to go one way or the other, just based on the records that I showed you? Yeah, you're muted again, by the way. Oh, you're muted.
I'm going with the guy that's, has the unique statistic of, 6 people have gotten, a UFC championship fight on, within 3 fights, and they've all won. So I got to take Erceg with a finish.
You mean Pantoja?
No, Erceg.
Oh, you're going Erceg.
I'm gonna go Erceg, man. He's taken, he's the 6th or 7th guy that have won 3 fights in the UFC, got a title fight. Everybody's won it. He's gonna be hot coming in, and that's the thing. When guys have, you gotta look at that too. Is he's only had 3 fights in the UFC. All right, he doesn't have a lot of damage, man, and people don't understand damage as a fighter. Like you don't recover 100% after your fights most of the time. And
you're definitely right, because I don't consider it. I always think all the fighters are like superheroes and you just kind of bounce back, because to me they kind of look like almost as if they come in and out unscathed for the most part, but you probably pick up much more on those nuances and details. We do have that age difference of 6 years. Pantoja is 34, which is still relatively young, but his Erceg is only 28. So I guess we'll see what happens, but I'm going to split with you. I'm going to go with Pantoja just because he's beaten such stellar competition. Definitely a vet. I don't know. I think that's a fair way to go. And we're excited to see Jose Aldo. We've already talked about that fight. And Anthony Smith is coming back fighting an up-and-comer in Brazil. So let's see what happens. I'm buying the fight. I don't think it's going to do great pay-per-view wise. It doesn't have a lot of big names on it, but I'm going to watch it. I think it's going to be interesting. Let's see what happens. And we're going to get down on Bare Knuckle FC. I'm going to start learning all the fighters. I'm going to start watching all the fights, and we're going to break it down. And let's
here's a problem with BKFC when you're trying to do that. And it goes to the longevity of the career of BKFC fighters. MMA fighters last a lot longer because, we're not breaking our hands. We're not getting cut every fight. A lot of bare knuckle guys are in and out in 2 or 3 fights, man. And that's why Mike Perry's he's 5-0 or 6-0 now. Like, that's a lot of fights for him. 5-0.
Yeah,
like, that's a lot of fights in the BKFC, man. Like, most guys only do it 2 or 3 times and they hang up the bell. So let me know how that goes. Like, and I'm not saying that sarcastically. Like, I just think that the turnaround ratio of events to fighters being healthy to fight it's going to be tough to keep track of all the fighters.
Wow. Okay. Well, Justin's going to do a BKFC fight soon. By the way, we got NTPA support here. That's the National Test Prep Association. Heck yeah.
Hey.
Anyways, thank you guys for joining. And yeah, we got a fun-filled weekend, and let's see what happens. And let's see. I hope for the best for Ryan Garcia. If it was an infraction, if he did it illegally, I guess he should get whatever justice due to him. But I would like to see him bounce back. I think he's super interesting. I would love to see him fight again. So let's see what happens. Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining today. Give us a like if you haven't yet. We're still trying to grow. We're still trying to build, but we're having a blast doing this. So hopefully you join us along on the ride, and you can do that by subscribing. Check back in. We do shows every Monday and Friday, and we got some cool videos. I'm working on a crazy video before Hamzat has that next fight. I think some people are going to agree. I think some people will disagree. We'll see what Justin says. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining, and we'll see you next time. Take it easy.